new 4LOM Zuckus.
Yeah, remember back in my AT-AT driver review where I said I say AT-AT because of the commercials from my youth? That's just stuck in my head.
New Bespin Guard, new AT-AT Commander, new Imperial TIE Fighter pilot.
That doesn't happen with 4LOM. I don't say 4LOM. I don't remember ever saying 4LOM. And everybody knows the story of their names being reversed in the early 80s, and then in the later 80s they said, hey, 4LOM's more of a droid name, which I had no problem with. It comes down to the least amount of syllables coming out of my mouth because I am a lazy bastard. I don't say C-3PO, I don't say Rudu, there's C-3PO and R2-D2. So let's say it however we want to, but we can all agree that this is pronounced Zuckus. Hasbro. Zuckus. Today's review is sponsored by my wallet. Rest in peace, buddy. Rest in peace. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm going to take a look at the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series 4LOM. And yes, I went to eBay for this, and I paid a little extra. Bad bad. But I couldn't help it. I had to grab it. I didn't want to do the whole hunt every store Wookiee weekend or whatever the hell's coming up soon. I couldn't wait. It's Star Wars, it's original trilogy, it's Bounty Hunter. I had to have it. And I do not recommend that for everybody. And no, I didn't get it just for review. Although I'm reviewing it now just so I can open it. I got it because I needed the damn figure. But he's part of a group that I loved even as a kid. You look at that scene with all the bounty hunters standing side by side, well, kind of side by side, and you just think, there's something special about each of these guys. They need a backstory, and I will make it up playing in my bedroom on the floor. And that just transitioned into me being on eBay and going, I have a 15% off coupon, might as well. And here comes this part. Looking at the package, it's your standard Hasbro Black Series packaging. The black, the picture, the red in the background, the figure standing out nicely against that background. 4LOM is number 67 in the series. On the back, nice promotional picture again, bio for 4LOM. It's throwing me off that the last sentence is that proved a perfect occupation for the cold calculating mechanical. I know they're using mechanical as a noun, calling him a mechanical, but my brain wants to go calculating mechanical what? Mechanical asshole. Down here's the warnings. The unreadables probably says something like, keep an eye on it on your shelf. You blink and you may miss it. Movie reference humor. On the side, that stylized font for 4LOM. On the top, pitch black. On the bottom, legalese, warnings, more unreadables, UPC. But I'm going to get this out of the box. And I'm putting my group together. Well, most of my group. I still need 2 figures. Come on, Hasbro. And there we go, all out of the package. And I have to say, even though I was predisposed to like this, it's a bounty hunter, it's a cool looking character, Hasbro kind of surprised me with this one. Now, looking at the sculpt, you would think that it's going to reuse a lot of C-3PO, and it does a little. Pretty much from the waist down is all C-3PO, but everything, well, okay, wait. The arms may be the same sculpt, but they've went back and re-engineered the whole arm. So it may look the same, but it functions differently. But all the new parts, definitely 4LOM. New chest piece, new abs. Like I said, new functionality in the arms, and then, of course, the head. Now, paint is another surprise. They actually nailed the patina of 4LOM. It's kind of a darkish, grayish base body, but the copper accents and dry brush they put on top of that just brings it out beautifully. And if you had asked me if he had some kind of logo on his chest before getting this, or blood splotch, or whatever the hell that is, if you'd asked me that before, I would have said, what are you talking about? I don't know. Get up to the head, and it's kind of a silver color that doesn't quite match the body, which I think is accurate. The sculpt is fantastic. It's insect-like, like it's supposed to be, in contrast to the droid body. And then the paint on top of that, it's painted completely, which we'll get to here in a minute, but I dig the copperish, goldish lines that they drop down into the eyes, kind of bring out that detail there. Couldn't ask for a better 4LOM head, seriously. Now, like I said, it reuses from the waist down on C-3PO, I'm pretty sure. It seems like the articulation's the same, the sculpt is the same. And the arms, you can see, it has the same details on it until you get to the back of the elbow right there. You can see this is attached. This isn't. That's because there is now articulation at the elbow. On mine, the left works a little bit better than the right. The right gets from here to about right there. The left seems to have full motion all the way up to 90. As you can see, this piston right here travels this trench on the forearm. So you get forward, You get down, and there's also a ball joint up there, so there's no hindrance at all there. Now, if you overextend the forearm down, try to get the arm straight, you're going to pop that ball out of the bicep. This piece they took off the elbow. It's a rubbery piece separate from the plastic of the arm, so that's not going to snap off. And they also added a bicep swivel, which if you have C-3PO, you know that you can't do anything here. It just goes up and down, out and in. For LOM, you now get full range of motion. Out, up, in, over, forward, up. Also on C-3PO, there was a hinge going up to a ball in the head, like most standard Black Series figures. With 4LOM, they went to this new articulation that I showed on Tarkin a couple of days ago. There's a dumbbell joint. There's a ball in the neck with a pin in between going to a ball in the head. Tilt. Oh man, I'm loving the tilt the new articulation is giving. That was impressive enough for me to just go, oh. Now I do have some gripes, but it's mostly with the size, and we'll get to that. But another kick-ass feature, and I'm not used to complimenting the figure all through this section. This is where I usually have my gripes. People go, you are a complaining bastard. But you can kind of see it. See the green tint to the eye right there? The head is actually cast in a hollow green plastic, and then all the paint is applied over that. And if you pop the head, you can see there's actually a hollow point right there. There's not one on the other side for whatever reason. My problem comes into play where there's nowhere for the light to shine in to light up the eyes. Usually with this feature, you have a spot that's not painted so the light can shine down and then come out here. But I'm going to try to show this the best I can. You have to kind of get behind the eye and shine it through. It's kind of difficult to get right there. If you shine through, there you go. It almost acts like it wants to be an LED inside of it, which would be amazing. But in natural light, I can't really get it to work, except right there where you can see kind of through. Looking at the articulation, like I said, there's a dumbbell joint in the neck. Great down, great up, lots of tilt, swivel. There's a hinge and swivel at the elbow, and the shoulder pad piece is a separate piece just kind of capping it off, hiding all of that. But you can get out to 90, swivel around, swivel at the bicep. Hinge at the elbow goes up to 90, and down, not quite straight, to about right there. Hinge and swivel at the wrist. Trigger finger hand has up and down. Yes. I think there's a dumbbell joint in the torso. It goes forward, it goes back. You have some tilt, but it doesn't want to turn. I don't know. I may need to pop that apart, see what's going on in there. Seems to be a ball joint going out to the hip, not a lot out to here. You have to kind of rotate and work it around to get up. Back, not so much. There is rotation at the thigh. Single elbow goes to there. It's the design that gets in the way. But the knee does go forward. Hinge at the ankle goes back, forward, and then forward facing pin for rocker. For accessories, he comes with a rifle. I think this is the same mold as the Sand Trooper. For some reason, my Sand Troopers aren't holding these anymore. And there's not a lot of paint here. They used all the paint on the figure itself. It's just cast in a gray color. Now in the movie, he's just holding it, you know, standing up like this. But the trigger finger hand, it does hold the gun nicely. You can also, because of the extra arm articulation, have him hold it in both hands. And that's pretty badass. And because of the articulation, you can almost get him into a semi-decent rifle butted against the shoulder look, and him even kind of looking down it. In fact, that looks better than the double-jointed Marvel Legends cable I looked at yesterday. Hasbro, you're spoiling me here. For comparison, and this is going to get kind of convoluted and complicated, but here he is with the Star Wars Black Series C-3PO. You can see that there's just barely a little bit height added to the ab section, but for the most part they're the same size, and this is probably my one and only big problem with the figure. Because here he is with the rest of the bounty hunters that Hasbro has released. A little bit small, not too bad though. If you look at the reference picture, he's supposed to be shorter than Bosk, shorter than Boba Fett. IG-88 is just out of proportion anyway. He needs to be bigger. We need a model kit of him actually. But the top of 4LOM's head is about even with Bosk's eyes in the reference picture, and his shoulders line up with the top of Bosk's harness. So yeah, a little bit small, but damn, he looks good with the rest of them. Because you throw in the figure arts C-3PO, which is my main go-to C-3PO on the shelf. A little bit extra size, and he lines up with Bosk better. If you're wanting to sneak him into your model kit line or your import line, here you go with the Mafex Boba Fett and then the model kit Boba Fett. So at the end of the day, Hasbro took what is essentially a refitted protocol droid and made it kind of badass. Don't get me wrong, the look in the movie, he was badass, but because of the movement, the paint, the The extras here, the figure itself is badass. They didn't have to do the light piping thing in the head, and yeah, it doesn't work. I'm gonna have to scrape some paint so the light can shine through, or install some kind of LED, or just not worry about it. But they went ahead and did it, on top of retooling the arms and making them so much better. Now I kind of want a new C-3PO in the line with the arm articulation, or give me C-3PX, or TC-14, or Death Star Droid, or what was it, a CZ model running around at Mos Eisley, something like that. The extra articulation here makes me a little more excited for more droids. And yeah, I have complaints about the size, but you make them awesome enough, and I can overlook that. But going on size, how small is Zuckuss if he's gonna, well, he's supposed to be smaller than 4-LOM. If 4-LOM's this much smaller than the rest of the bounty hunters, I'm kind of worried that Zuckuss is gonna be really super small. And I know I harp on the Zuckuss thing, I'm sure he's gonna get out somewhere. I don't talk about Dengar as much because they've announced him for the regular line. I have no worries about that. But the exclusives, and then it's an exclusive that's kind of just floating around now, I need the Zuckuss. Especially after being completely blown away by this 4-LOM. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh. I always get my man. Why do I want to give him that voice? I don't know. I guess it's because of the bug head. I will hunt you down. That's so undroid-like. Maybe I picture Zuckuss with that voice. I am 4-LOM. Why? See, I can't help it.